Paul had a bit of an R&R. I had a little bit of a issue going on with moving home. So, yeah, we're in a new spot right now. So, good evening to everybody who's watching. Hopefully, we are live. People are getting notifications now.
Yep, YouTube channel.
Sweet. So, we have got on the panel tonight, we have got Mr. Craig Green. Good evening, Craig.
Evening.
We have the good old man, Nicholas, as he's just been called. Mr. Fraser, you all right, sir?
Yeah, I'm not bad. I'm alive.
You're alive. We have the Queen, Pixie Quinn. What's going on, Pix?
I don't know how to feel. You've just called me Queen. Apart from that, I'm fine.
The only lady that comes on the live, so you've got to be the Queen of the live.
Oh, okay.
And we've got the big man himself, Mr. Adam Rayner. Good evening, sir.
Come on, mate.
And we've got the man himself, the vape man photos, Dave. Dave.
I do.
So everybody, how's your week been? What you have for tea? And I know we didn't do last week, so how's everything going? We'll start with you, Craig. How are you, mate? How's your week been so far? And what have you had for tea?
For dinner, just had a sandwich. Week's not really been too bad, to be honest with you. Been all right, actually.
And what about you, Nikki? How's your week been? What you have for tea?
Week's been good. Random crap coming in the post, but hey, that's life.
What you have for tea? Nothing for tea, as always. Is that right?
I've had a black coffee.
Oh, okay, well, that's definitely not food. But yeah, you've had at least something to drink. Pixie, what have you had for tea? I know you've been out and about. Doubling it up tonight. It's double session tonight.
It is double session tonight. Hard working. I've not had my tea yet, but I do have red wine chicken with celeriac mash when I'm done. Bit of a sad week though. One of our pets died. Like Nikki's snake died. We'd had her 12 years and she died. So it was a bit sad.
Oh, Nikki might not have wanted to mention that because he looks like he might have cried. Did you cry, Nikki? Did you? Good lad. Good lad. They are always part of us, mate. I've still got the tarantulas and the snake at my mum's, and I need to bring them over, so they'll soon be over here. Adam, how's your week been, mate? What you have for tea?
Yeah, not bad, man. Just getting things ready for the baby. Just double busy, isn't it? And yeah, I ain't had no dinner.
How long away we now then till Daddy Rayner? How long?
Well, they reckon 8 weeks, but they said that she might come at 6 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Which would be handy for Expo. I think it works out that the day I get back, that they're inducing her and taking her down, but they just have to make sure she makes it. Otherwise, I'll be in Brum.
You'll be on the way back, mate. Is where you'll be. You'll be on your way back.
I'll be safe distance, put it that way.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. And Dave, how's your week been, mate? And what have you had for tea?
Yeah, it's been alright, ups and downs this week, but yeah, just all stuff I'm dealing with. But yeah, jacket potato.
What filling, mate? Do not tell me butter.
A little bit of butter, yeah.
Just butter. Is that all you had?
Nah, cheese.
Good lad. The red stuff. The red stuff.
Red Leicester, you mean?
Nah, yeah. No. Proper yellow cheese. The shit what you whip out the bag.
Not the red stuff.
No, that's what I said. It's all changing from Monday onwards, so making the most of it while I can.
Good lad. Good lad. I think we'll start calling this weight loss banter. Right, so we've got loads to talk about this week. Good evening to everybody in chat. I know there's a few new faces and a few old faces. Good evening to you all. Hope you're all doing really well. We've got a lot of things to talk about tonight. The news has been absolutely mental. We go off for a week. We spend a week offline and the news and vaping industry goes fucking batshit. Absolutely fucking batshit. So we've got loads to talk about this week. I'm going to start off with, which I think it wasn't a funny one, but I was kind of thinking about this. So the first one we're going to talk about is Mum claims Juul pod kills her puppy. The dog ate the Juul pod from underneath the sofa where her 17-year-old son had been hiding them.
I sent you that, didn't I?
You did send me that, and I sat there and I thought, this woman is on TV in the news saying you shouldn't duel, you shouldn't use a duel, you shouldn't vape, you shouldn't do this.
I think the country needs RSPCA up their arse, if I'm honest.
She needs her son to be smacked round fucking head.
As well as the NSPCC fucking on top of it, that. You shouldn't be having kids or puppies. Fucking sitting there moaning about vaping, dickhead. Sounds like
My-
a price talk to me.
My point exactly.
I mean, why
Mine was-
it from his mum? Oh, mum, by the way, I smoked on a vape day. Don't worry, I'll hide it from you so you don't see it, dickhead.
But hiding it
Fucking
under the
dickhead.
sofa. Hiding it under the sofa. I know for a fact my sofas are pretty low, and if I hid a fucking e-cig under it, nothing will be able to get underneath it. How the fuck's this dog got under this couch anyway?
I don't get that
Might have
either.
gone through the sofa. Through the back.
Jacked up on books.
I'm telling you.
I kind of wonder though.
Either way, it
having,
just don't make sense. It sounds to me like she's just trying to go viral or some shit.
it just makes it's like
Trying to get famous.
I've got dogs. Adam's had dogs. Craig's got dogs. Not once. My dog's like a goat. She fucking eats anything she can, but not once has she ever gone near any of my liquids or anything like that and tried to eat it. I don't know.
My dog, a whole chicken to herself. A whole chicken that, but she doesn't ever come in here and touch any of my fake stuff or anything like that. She never has.
Tom,
Even
I
if she
think
just
you
goes,
got
I'll tell her no.
Pauline.
No. You know what, mate?
I think Paul's waiting to come in.
Yeah, I can't get Paul in because there's 6 of us in, so someone needs to drop out for a little bit while Paul comes in. And then we can switch around if that's okay, if somebody wants to drop out.
Yeah.
I'll
I don't mind, whatever. I'll go.
I'll go if you want, because you're team captain.
So,
Oh, all right,
Go on
Nicky's
then.
gone. Okay, all right then. Fine. That
good
name.
evening, good Mr. PH. How's it
Well,
going?
when that first message come up, and I thought, who's vaping G? Vape G. I thought,
Copy of my name.
Good evening,
Vape
sir.
G,
How are
I
you?
like it.
I'm not too bad, mate. I'm not too bad. I've been a bit shit. I know it appearing the last fucking month or so.
About an hour.
Sounds well echoey. Are you in the toilet? It sounds well echoey.
In the
No,
kitchen.
my kitchen's so big.
It's got a massive kitchen.
It's on the toilet. It must be the only room you're allowed to fucking fully toil.
The vooping G.
One of these episodes, you've got to come in on the shitter because everyone just assumes when you're in the kitchen that you're in the shitter.
The reason why I'm 10 minutes late is because I was on the shitter, mate.
I don't know if you heard what we were talking about before, Paul, but we're
About
talking
American cunts.
about the dog. The dog. Did you hear about the dog?
If you leave your vape gear around and your dog dies, your dog deserves to die and you should have a cunt kicked in.
There it goes. Easy as that.
Are they suggesting that a dog died from just one jaw pop?
Yes.
Yeah. You should have started.
I'm not being funny, I think. They're that stupid to leave their vaping gear around. They've probably got bleach lying about and fucking all sorts.
To be fair, if
I
she's
doubt
going to
they'd have an all
start
on the top.
milligram pod, she should have kicked off on 10 milligram and worked her way up.
Yeah, but she's saying about a kid, her 17-year-old son left it under the fucking sofa, hid it under the sofa, and the dog got it out from underneath the sofa.
What
So
fucking dog? Papa.
So shouldn't she be? She said her 17-year-old son had a jewel. He left the jewel underneath the sofa. The dog ate the fucking jewel and the pod.
So what she
So why-
means is she hasn't got a sofa. She's actually got a deck chair in a living room. How the fuck?
I believe that's like called washing yourself up, isn't it?
I just don't understand how.
Like washing yourself up for being a bad parent, a bad pet owner, and her son's a shit vapor. Don't vaping jaw.
It's true though. It is fucking true. I said first thing I said was, how the fuck did the dog get under the bastard sofa?
Or like he stayed it under there, and he threw it under the sofa. That's what he's done. Shit, mum's come home. She's going to catch him smoking, so he threw it under the sofa.
Yeah, but then to blame it all on vaping, rather than blame it on the son who's misfucking treated the vape and just thrown it under the fucking couch. Why would you blame the actual product, not the fucking person who's misplaced it or put it in there?
What his mum should do is take him outside in the garden and whip him on his back for lying. Simple. Don't blame it on vaping.
It's only like if an animal got hold of some poisonous in the kitchen, any household product, and they died, would they then blame the bleach or whatever household products it got hold of? No, they wouldn't.
No, they'd just say that the pet owner's a shit cunt.
Exactly.
That's true, though, and they're not. It's like, I don't know, mate. This week has been a little bit drastic, to say the least, across the board, man. So,
Oh, it's fucking. You should see my sheet and fuck me, it's massive. Right, so the next subject we've got to talk about is Nikki sent me a picture of Bam Margera. I don't know if you know who he is. He's one of the stars.
Yeah, Bam Margera is a legend, mate.
So obviously,
Nikki's a big fan.
So obviously he's from Jackass. He's a big celebrity. He's been promoting videos that's backing vaping. So like videos of, you see them using these machines to see how the cotton looks after, and then how it looks for smoking, and then vaping. He's been promoting this. What do we feel about celebrities that we know are vapors, like Tom Hardy, like
Samuel L. Jackson,
who don't speak out about the? Say that again.
Oh, Harrison.
Yeah. What do we Vape G, the Vape G. What do we feel about celebrities who don't actually speak about how good vaping is, rather than?
You know what, Tom? I think, if I'm being honest, I think it's they're in a predicament whereby the ideal is that nobody vapes and nobody smokes. So to actually actively promote vaping as a thing, their agents, themselves. I mean, Bam Margera don't give a fuck about no one, man. He's a crazy cunt, so he can do whatever the fuck he likes, and he's made his own money, and he's got his own people around him. The people like Tom Hardy, I'd get them. I understand them doing a post saying that I used to be a smoker, now I'm a vapor, I feel healthier, blah 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 blah. But I think it's really compromising for them to be actively promoting vaping, if I'm being honest.
But when they sat on interviews of them talking about their latest movie coming out, especially Tom Hardy, and he sat there with a vape, what's the difference between him sitting there and being seen publicly doing it to saying it's helped me change my life?
Because if you revert back to vape whore stroke promoters who are constantly telling us to buy a certain product because it's fantastic, it starts to fall on deaf ears. And I think the fact that Tom Hardy will sit in an interview vaping and not mention it speaks volumes about vape. One, because he wouldn't be allowed to sit there smoking a cigarette doing it. So for me personally, I think it's sort of quite positive advertising without it being thrust on people's faces. And I think if he starts saying you need to use a vape, then you, Tom, as our marketing guru, should have him as team captain, and we'll fuck Adam up. I'm joking. I think like Bam Margera literally is his own entity, and he might even still be in rehab. And I've followed Bam Margera for many years, even before Jackass, because he used to do his own crazy shit before that.
CQI, yeah.
So I've followed Bam Margera for a long time, and he's either in rehab currently or he's just come out of rehab. He's been through a bad few months, like really bad, and he's literally as honest as they come on his Instagram. He's like next level shocking actually sometimes, because when he's on one, he's fucking on one, and he can say whatever he likes, and it's good that people. I don't know what he's got, 5 million followers maybe on Instagram, something like that. Might be 2 million. It's a fair few number anyway. I just think it's really difficult for famous people to actively push vaping when, actually, if you look at the video that Bam Margera posted, in the actual body of that post he put out on Instagram, it did say something about trying not to do either. Or like, if you don't start smoking, you shouldn't have to start vaping, which is also good, because that's giving the message that you would generally only go to vaping because you were smoking, as opposed to saying it's let's get all these youngsters off vaping because that rankles me anyway. We've been over this a million times, and I don't want to kill the show just with more thoughts because they're going to be the same week in, week out. I don't believe for a minute that there's more people vaping young that would have been smoking if vaping wasn't an alternative, and on that basis, it just don't sit well. I mean, mate, you've only got to look at this the week's antics in America this week to know that any amount of studies, any amount of logic is not enough to compete with huge amounts of money. Simple as that.
Yeah, definitely. You guys in an agreement with that statement?
Completely.
I am, yeah.
It'd be nice to see him say something.
Leo DiCaprio.
Say that again, Greg.
If you've got one celebrity, Leo DiCaprio, he vapes as well.
Yeah, he's an avid vapor, but as I said, a lot of them don't speak
Right,
out about it.
Just turn your volume down just a touch, mate, if you can.
Hold on a minute. It might be. Is that better?
It was just a bit
Any better?
screechy. Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been that fan in the background.
Well, we better start talking about America then, haven't we? We better start talking about the bans and then what's going on in America. I've got loads of stuff to talk about today about America. So we're going to get on to the Massachusetts, Michigan, and New York State are now banning all vaping products and any THC, CBD product for the next 4 months. What's our opinion on it? Because it's wrapped my brain today. It's really sort of put me into perspective that people's lives can be turned upside fucking down in just what somebody's comments of what they want to do with this industry. So what's everyone's thoughts about it, and what do you feel like it's going to do going forward?
I think surely the only people that's going to affect is a bricks and mortar shops. You're still going to be able to buy them online, and ain't going to be able to search every package going in and out of states. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. I mean, that's I think you buy anything online over there, like here.
Yeah, I mean that's absolutely right, Adam. But for me personally, in my own personal situation, our website makes up probably less than 10% of our business.
Yeah, I mean, surely that makes it more profitable.
You've got to assume that people's web sales will increase if they can't get it bricks and mortar, but then not necessarily go into the same website for their local shop.
Yeah.
So you've got people tied into 5-year lease deals on shops. You've got
no, that's what I mean. That's what I think it'll only affect them. I think it'll only affect bricks and mortar, and it would send them bankrupt. It'll send them. Not to mention these the juice companies that have paid all these millions of dollars to register each flavour, and that we were doing a couple of years ago.
I would think that the average vape shop in the States is probably, and if you use Leon at HDNE as an example, where he's distributing products, he's manufacturing products, he's got his own juice lines, he's probably putting on £500,000 worth of stock. I don't know. This is just me plucking figures out the score. I know at our peak at Endless being at its busiest, we were sitting on around about £500,000 worth of stock for mods for the shop, for stuff that we wholesaled out. So it's big numbers. And if we were at our peak, if we were told that we had to shut our doors the next morning, we'd have been in the shit. Everything we owned was tied up in stock. And I think a lot of these people are going to be in the same boat, whereby Leon opened both of his shops last night till midnight. But I'm not sure what the time difference is. To try and clear it, to get something. He's posted up today to say that he's still running his online side of it. I don't know how legal that is, how legal it's not, I'm not sure, but he's chose to do that, and fair play to him. I would have kept my shop open until some come in and told me how to shut it personally. Don't know, it's sad, man. It's worrying.
What are the consequences if that's the case? If they're found, because once again, it's not like when TPD coming over here, nobody knew what the actual consequences were.
I think the difference is that it's probably considered a higher legal offence, I would think.
Yeah.
And for whatever
so
reason,
on par with like Class A drugs, you think, or?
Maybe selling the equivalent of contraband. I don't know what that is. I haven't got a clue about American law because I know they're allowed to shoot people if they look at them funny, but then you're not allowed to vape in public, and I don't know. It's a bit fucking mad out there, but it's just crazy. It's crazy to think that ruling can be made yesterday afternoon, and by the evening it's implemented, done. That's it.
And yet you can still go to Walmart and buy a gun, which has killed.
What about some of these bigger juice companies, though? Because I know I had an email from a company I used to work with, Bad Drip, and they've had to move totally out of the state what they was in. That's got to affect the people buying the juices because obviously that cost is going to go on the juices.
It has to. It has to go somewhere, and you've either got to take the relocation fee on the chin to the tune of. I mean, when you talk about Massachusetts as a state, I haven't got a clue how big it is, but it's probably as big as the fucking UK. I don't know. I don't know how big the area is. I don't know what the population is. But it might be the equivalent of me and Tasha deciding for us to carry on our business, we've got to up sticks and move to Scotland or whatever, and it's just not practical to do that. Plus, I'd be closer to fucking Pixie, so I'd rather move down to I mean, I say to sort of relocate a shop. I don't know, if you've got a 10-year lease on a shop, and we've been really lucky with our leases on our shops where they've been fairly flexible. But I know in other retail people that have gone into a 15 or 30-year lease on a shop, and ultimately, if that business don't succeed, it's up to them to pay the rent or sublet the fucking lease out. And I don't know how that works in America. Some boys could be into hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of lease fees. They've got a responsibility to pay whether they use it or whether they don't, and then they're expected to relocate to another state and everything. It's just bollocks, absolute bollocks. But it is what it is, and they're fighting people that can't be fought. That's the truth of it.
Did you see the live video from the TVL guys with loads of people there actually at the hearing? There was people from TVL, there was people from RIG. All these people that are actually situated in Massachusetts were actually there, these big companies that were there. And they were trying to obviously get there and say their piece. And they were shouting stuff outside, they were chanting and stuff like that, and trying to give sort of a bit of an awareness and try to do something. It just basically did nothing. But they were there fighting.
Their mind was already made up before they went in that courtroom, I think, because from what I see of that video, the argument was they had no argument to ban the juice flavourings. It was just one simple thing, and then
but it's not flavourings, so is it? It's not flavourings, it's everything vaping product, everything vaping, which is obviously, as I said, it's in Massachusetts, Michigan, and New York State. So they've banned absolutely everything to do with vaping. So the whole thing to do with Trump and him saying that they want to ban flavours and stuff like that is not going through, but he wants to do it across the whole of America, not just state by state. Obviously, Michigan have decided to do it, New York State, because obviously it's different to us. They obviously have the president, but they have their own people running the state, so they make the fucking decisions, not fucking Trump. Trump makes it across the whole board. So going on to a little bit of Trump as well, they're obviously, I don't know if any of you've seen them, but people like Grim Green and big US reviewers are basically trying to change vapors' minds on where they vote. I don't know if you've seen this. They put up somebody who's actually in the governing power has basically said, if people who vape vote for this, don't vote for Trump, you can knock him out. You can get him out. You can get him out. But just don't vote. If he bans vaping or tries to ban vaping, we can all vote and knock him out. What's our opinions on the vaping now becoming very much political?
It's ultimately. Sorry, go on.
No. I was going to say, I think it needs to, because if they don't do something, they're going to carry on just wiping it out, and they'll end up with either a war or a riot. And it might sound a bit extreme, but if you think something silly happened this week where actually people went to do that whole Area 51 shite, if that many people want to do that, think of how many people want to prevent them from stopping vaping.
What's your opinion, Paul, about it becoming very political?
I just think the people that are making the decisions don't give a fuck about how many people vote for Trump or not, because ultimately Trump will win the next election, in my opinion. And there's probably more racists in America than there is vapers.
But they're saying he's saying that he won the last election by 212,000 votes, and estimated there is 13 million vapers in the US. But you know what pisses me off about that is there's that new petition going around for the White House. And supposedly there's 13 million vapors in the US, but only 142,000 people signed this petition. Where's the fucking rest of them?
Because
Exactly.
it's exactly the same in the UK, Tom. I shared a post about 5 weeks ago, a funny post about where the bloke wants to buy the car and he says, I'll meet you at such and such a place, and then he says, Rod, I'm at the mental hospital, and he said, well, you best fucking check yourself in if you think I'm knocking 15 quid off your car. That post has gone viral to the next level.
It really did, because one of my friends who you never met shared your post. So I was like, that's kind of like my post.
I've got my friends inboxing me with screenshots in car groups, in groups I'm not in Scotland, in bloody London. So fucking hell, mate, you've gone viral. And yet, when you look at any post at all, where it's any sort of advocacy, any sort of signing a petition, any sort of fill out this form to make your voice aware, they're just going, people do a bit like art, the other people will deal with that. And that's not just for vaping, that's just for anything, mate. It's for anything. You put up a post saying we're going to buy a free mod, and it will get, if it gets 100 shares, you put a post up saying, my pal's missus has got cancer, it's terminal, she's got 6 kids, and we want to try and raise some money. And even if people don't give, that share is just as important, because it might reach someone who's got a spare £10, £50, £100, and people are a bit like, oh, I can't be asked with that. And that's just human nature. It's just what it is. And I know I've seen lots of posts today saying, oh, if you don't fucking do this, you're part of the problem. But the reality is, no matter how many people turn up at the White House, no matter how many people turn up at state governors' offices and all the other shit that goes along with it, they've made their mind up what they're doing. They'll do what they want to do. There's no consequences to this. It's not like they're not. I would suggest 85 to 90% of any vapor in the world, if they couldn't get hold of their vape gear, would start smoking tomorrow. So then they've achieved exactly what they wanted to achieve. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying it's acceptable, but it is what it is. So the people at the top of the tree don't give a single fuck. Don't give a fuck who they offend, who they upset. And it's ultimately 100% this is about money. That's all it's about is money.
Do you not think it would change people's mindsets knowing that a lot of people are going to lose out on? This is going to affect a lot of people, as in families, businesses, you know what I mean, down to the consumer. It's going to affect everyone in that chain. Do you not think people need to be like, we need to do something now, and it's kind of urgent to get on with it?
What can they do, Tom?
Apart from scream and shout, I don't know what they can do.
No, I mean, I'm not even being an arsehole. If you start inboxing me and saying, listen, Paul, I don't give a fuck what you say. You better make this mod. And I just say, what the fuck's it got to do with you, Tom? Why are you doing it? There's only so many times you can keep shouting at me before I either tell you to fuck off. I'm not going to make the mod, because actually you want me to make the mod, you send me fucking 25 grand and I'll get it made. So, and they're in that same position. It doesn't matter who beats the drum out there. There's too much money involved. And this is, I mean, I've been reading reports about, that'll be the tumble drawer you can hear. There's been reports about where the tobacco companies are paying taxes a year ahead of themselves. So in some places where they've been paid last year, well, I don't know, fucking $600 million. And this year they're saying, actually, you're only due 140 million.
Yeah, I read the same one, but they sold it out in bonds or something.
But it's paid up front, whatever way it is. They're obviously, and then this, like, obviously, when they're setting budgets for this year, it's based on the money they got last year and some growth. And actually, what's happened is everyone's took a downturn, and now these companies, well, the tobacco companies aren't saying we want this money back, but what they're saying is the money that you're owed now is significantly less, and next year it's going to be significantly less. And at some point, the pendulum will swing whereby that tax money's dropped down on its arse, and big pharma revenue will fall. It has to fall to the tune of millions and millions of pounds again. That's just. And I mean, I can keep beating the drum week in, week out about everything. But I said 5 years ago that they will take control of this industry and they will fuck this industry. Now, do I think the same will happen in the UK? If I'm being honest, I don't. But America is too big a market for 13 million people not to be smoking cigarettes.
Is it, you necessarily think that's why they won't do it in the UK, because it necessarily is just down to money, and we don't bring as much revenue as the state because it's so big?
I just think we're a different country to America.
We do not sort of following on from what they're doing.
I just think, I mean, if you look at the way the TPD was applied, it was applied with a lot more common sense. And I've read a thing earlier on about Russia have decided that actually they're going to regulate vaping products, but they're going to regulate it separate from tobacco because it's a different thing. And it just breathes a sigh of common sense to me. And as much as me as a retailer, me as a manufacturer, me as a vapor, was a bit, what the fuck are they doing with this TPD? In essence, we had such an easy ride. And the things that they implemented that caused us a problem was just the fact that I have to fill this fucking thing up 3 times a day instead of once. It's not the end of the world. I have to carry 10ml bottles around in my pocket instead of a big bottle. It's not the end of the world. And on that basis, we had such an easy ride. And I'm sure it'll get worse, and I'm sure we'll start to get more and more and more and more regulation pushed on us. They'll start to tax it. I'm sure they'll start to tax it differently.
I mean, down where I live, down here, more vape shops have opened down here in the last year than I've ever seen before. I mean, there's about 7 now.
Yeah,
7 shops.
mate, more vape shops have closed this last year than have opened down here.
But also, most of the new vape shops obviously been open in the last 12 months, and more CBD shops that sell vape gear than they are vape shops that sell a bit of CBD.
Yeah, I mean, the new one, what's open, just, I think it's a couple of minutes away from me. He don't really sell mechs or anything like that. It's more like simple CB, what you just said there. It's more that in there. I mean, that's more of that, what he's doing in there, especially for them sort of products. That's what he's doing. And I mean, I think he'll get probably good business. Probably not. I personally don't know because I've never tried it, so I don't know.
I am seeing quite a few new vape shops fall straight on their arse, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dudley store, Paul, as you probably know as well as me, over the past couple of years, Dudley itself as a town is absolutely dead. And I've seen a few vape shops pop up and go. But, I mean, I think yours does well because of its reputation, if you know what I mean. Since a lot of these little vape shops.
If I had Dudley as a standalone business, I'd have shut it. It doesn't make me. If I had just Dudley shop on its own and nothing else, I'd have shut it. And it doesn't cost me any money to have that shop there. But it would never make me enough money to be a business that's even worth doing. And actually,
from someone who
Yardley is
someone who lives within that town, Shady in Dudley has got a very, very good reputation. And I think that's why a lot of people aim there rather than anywhere else, because there are shops about which, the same as in any town, where you can get the cheap knockoffs, the cheap nasty juices for, $5 a bottle. But once you've got that reputation that it's a good shop and that the staff are good and that the items you get from there are good quality, I think that's what keeps a good shop going. I think that's what's happened in Dudley. That's why you're doing so well. From someone, I mean, I don't know your business side of things. I don't know if you're doing well. I don't know if you're not doing well. But from what I see, I mean, whenever I go in there is always, either while I'm in there, 2-3 customers come in, buy stuff and go, or there's one who's already sat in there. And you can go in the other vape shops at Dudley and they're dead all day.
It pays the bills. It pays Jay's wages. We don't owe no one any money. It makes me some money. But if I didn't have Yardley, it's just a nice little bolt-on for the Yardley shop and Endless and the juice and everything else. As a standalone thing, maybe I'd keep it just because it's paying Jay's wages and some of Dan's wages and covering the bills. It's never going to set the world on fire. I'd never be able to retire on what Dudley brings in. But Yardley as a standalone shop, if I had to shut Dudley tomorrow, that's fine. I'd just keep Yardley and we wouldn't be in a much worse position. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
But it's just the market. The market's saturated. Now, from a selfish point of view, I think that the American thing may even equal our business out in the UK a little.
Yeah.
Do you think it will?
Especially online because.
Sorry, Dave. Go on.
Go on. Especially online because you're going to get a lot of Americans ordering online now, and they will order from the UK.
But there's still a lot of states that can order from in America.
Do you not think it's going to push them sort of manufacturers out into Europe though?
I don't think they can carry the margin, Tom. I mean, ultimately, America dictated the way our market went 5 years ago. And we was about 12 to 18 months behind what they were doing and the way they were doing. Our UK expos are literally versed on what we see the Americans doing. And when the Americans came to the first UK expo, they dictated the way that the thing went. And as much as people say, oh, expo's not as good as it used to be, it's different. For me, it's different better. Do you know what I mean? But I just think that America I say America, and that's quite a loose term because it covers everyone, but there's lots of people that have been expecting this to come, and they've still sold liquid that fucking goes against what they should be having on labels, and they still haven't followed regulation, and they've still been a bit like, fuck it, man, they'll never stop us doing this. And now this morning, there's people crying in the suit that have lost their business. Now, there's people...
With America, it was too little too late.
Well, there's people in that group of people that have spent the last 5 years fully advocating what they do. And there's other people that have just left them people to it. But this morning, it's affected every fucker. Yes. Whether you advocated or whether you didn't, it's affected everybody. But I still think there's too many people that just go, oh, I don't need to worry about that petition. I don't need to worry about going to that rally. There'll be enough people there. They'll get their fucking points across and we'll all be okay. Truth be told, you're fighting a power that can't be fought.
I just think personally that people in America are probably just going to buy the liquid to make it themselves at home, get it from the UK or anywhere like that and make it at home, because I think that's what they'll probably do. Is just go and make it themselves, buy it from the UK, get it shipped over there, not get it checked and do it at home and carry on vaping there. And I think that'll be my opinion there. I think they will do that.
Is this the time where we start getting scared? Or do we just do our own thing?
For me personally, mate, I've always just done my own thing. I've just worked on the base that if we're making money, we carry on, and if we don't, I'll shut the shops, and I'll carry on with that ethos until the day that we can't carry on anymore. It's as simple as that. So, at the end of the day, if the UK want to implement something like what the States have just done, we ain't going to stop it neither. Not anyone's going to stop it. They'll do what they want to do.
Kevin Haney said,
I don't think it will.
Sorry, Kevin Haney in chat says, is the negative news from the US starting to affect anything in the EU? I see it's a pushing negative agenda in countries like India, Malaysia, Brazil, Indonesia, Puerto Rico, and such. As we've sort of touched on, it's not really sort of affected us yet, but I don't think we could ever say it won't affect us.
All countries with huge percentages. All of them.
Say that again, sorry, Paul.
All of them countries have got a huge percentage of smoker.
Yeah. And ours is constantly falling. I don't know if you saw the news report on this morning. I saw it. Somebody posted it on Facebook, but we had somebody in speaking about vaping on this morning, and they were talking about the decrease in smokers in the UK. And then I think it was either Phil or Holly said, what about vaping? Is vaping safe? And then a big fucking banner across the bottom of the screen said, is vaping safe? And the woman turned around and said, you've obviously seen all these reports from the US about people dying through vaping. And them two nodded their head, and she turned around and said, actually, well, it's THC. It's not actually vape. It's not actually vaping nicotine. It's actually THC. So for them to come out on a show like her to come out on a show like that, it's got millions and millions of viewers, to actually turn around and go, actually, you need to get your facts straight before you're asking me if vaping is safe, is definitely a positive in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of positivity in the UK, mate, to counteract all these 7 people dying from dodgy THC cartridges. It don't mean that the government at some point won't do what they want to do.
I mean, at my work, I've seen more people vaping than actually smoking. And like my mum and dad, they've given up and gone to vaping. So it has had a negative impact because it's helped them give up smoking. And at work, people are using vapes more at work. That's the way I see it. I think it's helping people to give up.
Because that woman on this morning. Carry on, Tom.
No, go on, Dave. That
woman on this morning, she's one of these TV GPs. She works with that Dr. Christian, and he does a lot of. He's quite active on Twitter, and a lot of what he puts anything to do with vaping is positive. Except I think where we're different from America. If this started to affect us now, we would all stand up together now and fight it. Where with America, and I know this is going to piss a load of people off, but I think they got very, very lazy, and they didn't regulate, they didn't advocate, they didn't push it when this started to happen. You know, when things started to go downhill, they didn't. As kind of going on to what Paul said about, you know, there's petitions. You tend to find it a lot with America, whatever the whole vaping thing. You know, less than I'd say, 40% of vapers actually sign that petition. It's the same that Area 51. You know, millions of people are meant to turn up, and there's about 12 of the idiots down there. But I think that's where the UK would be different, because if we had to sign a petition now to say vaping, I think 90% of the vapers in the UK would sign it. You know, that's where we're different, because I think we back ourselves up straight away rather than waiting and expecting everyone else to do it.
Then I start thinking about people signing petitions. Where do you get that information out from? So we've not got money to get stuff on TV, so we haven't got to say sign this petition, it's on TV. They wouldn't show it anyway, but just as an example, for say marketing's sake, we haven't got the money. I don't think anybody in the industry apart from Big Tobacco has got the money to go and say sign this, because what my worry is there's probably about 100,000 people on Facebook. The estimated vapers in the UK is 3 million. So you get 100,000 people to sign it. Where's the rest of them going to learn about this? Because they're not on Facebook, they're not on social media. How's the over 2.9 million people going to learn about this petition and learn about what the fuck's going on?
Paul's got the money.
Every single retailer should be advocating. But the trouble in the UK is that Big Tobacco, mate, are snapping up this industry left, right, and centre undercurrent. And at some point, they're just going to rear their head out and they're going to own too much of the industry. You've got Juul currently in America are advocating the flavour ban. They're saying, actually, yeah, we'll just drop our flavours. We're going to drop out of the Vape Association or whatever it was, because we don't agree what they're saying. Because they either capture the vape market or they capture the smokers. They prefer the smokers because it's worth more dough to them.
But is that because obviously there's a new report come out today that the Juul CEO stepped down, and the geezer that runs Ultra is now the CEO at Juul. So what I'm saying is that the guys at Juul saying that, or is that now the 12.1 million or 12.3 million, 25% ownership of fucking Philip Morris turning around and going, you've got to fucking do this. We're big boys. We've got the money. We're putting all this shit into your marketing campaign.
It's about that, mate. It's about money. Simple as.
I have to agree with that, Paul.
Do you know what I do find weird though? Is why is it's only happened in one place in the whole world? Why is it that it's only affected one place in the whole world? It might sound a bit silly, but it sounds like a bit man-made in a way. Like they may have wanted it to happen. Does that sound?
What do you mean by one place in the world? There's been countries this week that ban vaping.
No. I mean the actual deaths, the actual THC cartridge incidents. I've not seen them anywhere myself, apart from happening in America.
Because that's where they started. So actually, you can buy them cartridges with genuine bona fide THC in them. But then some cunts started making them in the back shed, and there's all sorts of shit in them, and they're just not right. So, and I'm sure that more deaths will come out over the next 12 months. I know people that were using dodgy cartridges in the UK. I've had people come into my shop with them dodgy cartridges, buying them locally to my shop.
Do you think that's what started the ball rolling in the States, Paul, these deaths?
I just think they were like, shit, we've got a perfect excuse here, let's fucking get rid of it. I just don't get how you can say that last year in America, more people died falling off their bed than what died smoking fucking dodgy THC cartridges. So therefore, should they be banning beds? Should everyone have to sleep on a blow-up mattress on the floor so if they roll off, they won't die? I can't believe they've used a stat of 7 people dying as an excuse to single-handedly say, fuck this, we're not having it, when 40,000 people a month or something like that in America die from smoking-related illness. Crazy. They just don't even make sense how they. Like I said, I think I said a couple of weeks ago, I'd rather them say, look, we know this is safe, but it's cost us money, so fuck you all, we're stopping it. I'd have more respect for them.
Yeah.
Or they'd say we'll fucking tax you massively.
Yeah, or if you want to buy a dual pod, it's going to cost you fucking $35. Knock yourself out. If you want to be healthy, but you're going to pay for it.
And yet they can not ban guns, but there's all these school mass shootings and way more people have died because of that. Unfortunately, that's the way it is, and that's the way they do it.
Yeah,
But they can't say we can ban guns, but they can ban vaping off 7 people.
I just feel like it's been not. I'm not going to sit here and be like a conspiracy theorist and say it's been planted, but I do believe that they've, as Paul said, they've found an excuse and they fucking ran with it, and everyone's fucking shitting themselves. But it's not always that. For me, I'm always sitting here. It is predominantly about money, but then I think, well, why couldn't they do something to sort of maybe invest in this product to then save money elsewhere? It just fucking ruins my head, like proper ruins my head, that the fact is that this technology has come through, it's helping a lot of people live longer, it's population control, it's fucking all about money. It's just, it's too deep for my mind to think about, because I just feel like it's the whole, they're doing it in our faces and they're telling us how they're doing it, and they're fucking us over literally by telling us, just let you know, I'm going to stick this up your ass and you're going to be fucked. Listen,
Tom, I'll be straight, right? If I owned a tobacco company 7 years ago when vaping was a thing, I'd have shit myself. Because I'd have been saying, this is literally encroaching on my livelihood. Now, the difference being that their livelihood is worth many billions of dollars to lots and lots and lots of people. But the truth of it is, if someone bought out something tomorrow that they could sell for 1 pence, that meant you didn't want to vape or you didn't want to smoke, I'm going to be in just a similar situation on a smaller scale. I'm going, hang on, a cheaper product that gets people off vaping and off cigarettes. Fucking hell, I don't know what the idea is. Yeah. Ultimately, it comes down to money. And at the end of the day, Philip Morris, as a standalone business, turns over many billions of pounds, but they've also got many billions of pounds worth of overhead because they employ hundreds of thousands of people worldwide. So they're making a huge amount of money. They make a product that they know is killing people. But the truth of it is, business is business. And no matter what way you look at this, money will always be the deciding factor in how this was always going to play out. And you've got people in the UK selling businesses for way more than what they're worth to Big Tobacco. And Big Tobacco are buying them because it gives them market share. And if they've got market share, they've got control. And they've got control to either make it as profitable, which they never will because they've got to cover both tobacco and farmers' money, or they phase it out, self-regulate, make it impossible, and just go, you know what, fuck this, you might as well just stick to the cigarette. Simple as that. And we can talk about this till the cows come home, or there's too much money involved for this to ever change. It will never change.
It's just scary to me. It's fucking proper scary to me. Because it runs I just feel it runs deeper than fucking money. It really does. And just for blatantly saying,
is how cigarette sales are down in the UK, which pretty much gives you, as Paul's just pretty much said, Big Tobacco will definitely start hitting the UK harder than what they already are, because the sale of tobacco is well down now. I mean, you ask I'll speak to our local corner shop because he knows nothing about vaping, but he knows there's money in it, and he's asked me about it. He says, if I open up a vape shop, where do I go? What do I need to do? Because his sales of tobacco has dropped that much.
But to be fair, mate, I know people that own shops that their tobacco sales have dropped, but their profit of the business has not really changed because the amount of money they make on fucking 200 fags is negligible.
Yeah, but then this bloke knows how much more money he's going to make on vaping.
But anyone's core business, like when I stopped smoking, I didn't stop by buying bread and milk.
Yeah.
So I still go into the shop and buy my bread and milk, and while I'm in there, I'll pick up a chocolate bar, or I'll pick up some beer, or whatever else I used to pick up. I still pick up that same shit. And actually, if I'm spending 20 quid a day less in his shop, The only thing that he's doing with that £20 is taking a tiny little bit off the top, and the rest of it's going out in tax. So on that basis, I went into a shop one day when I smoked, and I used to smoke Sterling Jewel, and some shops around here would hardly ever have them. So if I went into a shop and they had them, I'd buy 200 or 400, so I didn't have to go fucking run to the shop twice and 3 times a day. And I went into a shop one day and I was like, "You got? Can I have 40 Jewel, mate?" And he opened his sliding thing, and there was a whole row of them. And I said, "I'll take 200." And he was like, "Oh, no, mate, I have them for my regulars." And I says, "Yeah, but I'm buying them." And he says, "To be honest, for what I make on them, I'd rather not give them to you. I don't know you from Adam, but they come in here, they buy the fags, but while they're in here, they're buying the bread, the milk, the paper, the fucking this, the that, the other. I don't make nothing off the cigarettes, but they come in for them cigarettes, and if I haven't got them, they'll poke the ready. Have you got the fags now? They'll just go to the shop down the road, and while they're in there, they'll spend the money on the bread, the paper, the milk, and everything else in that shop. So I have them in there. I know how much a packet of fags costs to buy wholesale. I know how much they retail for. You sell 10 fags for £10, you've got to pay your tax on that. Most of what you bought them for has gone back in tax. The only person making out of them cigarettes is the cigarette company, and actually the governments worldwide are probably making more revenue than the actual cigarette companies. So it's never going to be a shop owner debate that steers the way vaping goes. Because I can tell you now, if they sell a bottle of liquid for £3.99 for a 10ml, they're making more on that bottle of liquid than what they are on 10 cigarettes for 12 quid. Simple as.
That's when I start thinking, well, then these big tobacco companies are not necessarily, they're obviously buying the shops and they're buying people for obviously the numbers, the customers and stuff like that. And then profit wise, you're going to make more off vaping than you are ever with smoking.
If you can capture the whole of the market, definitely. But at some point, vaping will either get phased out or it will become more expensive than smoking. And then you've got this dilemma of, I've said many times, and I'll be honest, I'll never ever give up smoking because of my health. I'll give up smoking to save money. So if vaping became as expensive as cigarettes, the chances are I'd probably carry on vaping. If it was going to cost me £10 a day more to vape than to smoke, I'd take my chances, man. I'm going to die probably being a fat cunt before ever smoking kills me. So on that basis, why am I going to spend more money on the vape than I am on the cigarette? It just doesn't make sense. So if they can capture 50%, if they capture 95% of the vaping market, and that vaping market is then 50% of the value of the smoker, they've still got enough smokers to bring in many billions of pounds, still getting cancer, still having medication and keeping Big Pharma going. And then they just start selling a dual pod for $14.99.
It's more of a knock-on effect, isn't it, with smoking?
Look, at the moment, I don't even know how much I don't even know how you buy a dual pod, whether they come in singles or packs of 2 or 3 or what, I don't fucking know. I haven't got a clue how much they are. But let's just say, for argument's sake, a normal pod for the likes of the Bow that was a 1.2ml tank that come preloaded with liquid, off the top of my head was about $3.99. So pretty much the same price as 10ml of liquid. Disposable pod. But if that pod would last you the equivalent of 20 cigarettes, there's no reason why they couldn't sell it for $14.99 and say, we understand it's £10 more than 20 cigarettes, but this is much, much healthier. Now, if they're selling one pod for $14.99, they're making about £14.50. If they sell a packet of fags for 12 quid, they're making pennies because the government's got such a big slice of it. So it will either become more expensive than smoking, and they'll capture both markets, and they'll just charge you more, which ultimately balances out whatever the billions of turnovers was. It'll just be split between smokers and Big Pharma and vapors. That's the way I think it will go. But if there's not enough of a swing, they'll just cancel it out like they have in America and say, we're really sorry, man, this fucking shit's more dangerous than what we thought, so you best just stick to your fags. At least we know the way that's killing you. This vaping's a bit fucking unpredictable.
Yeah, because as you're saying, it's got more of a knock-on effect, hasn't it, for everybody else? It's not going to just affect big tobacco. It's affecting big pharma. It's affecting the government. It's got more of a kicking effect than vaping ever will have, because it's going to affect a lot more people's livelihood.
Vaping will never be worth the same gross revenue as the smoking industry and all its sub pieces of shit that go with killing people. It just won't. It will never be worth that same amount of money. So it's never in their interest for vaping to thrive.
What is the next step then with America? Then what's everyone's opinion on the next step for America? Obviously, they've started banning these flavors. It's only for temporary. It's not. Sorry, they've only banned products for I think 4 months in Massachusetts, 4 weeks in New York, and 4 weeks in Michigan. Do we think that once they've started this ball rolling, are they going to hit the rest of America?
Yeah, I do. I think they are going to hit the rest of America.
Well, I
think it's just going to get worse.
In the first place, if they don't, do you know what I mean? What they going to achieve just by doing it for 4 weeks? I don't understand that, unless they're going to do it anyway.
That's exactly what it was. I was going to say, Adam, I just think, I don't understand how after 4 weeks we go, actually, it's only 7 people, crack on and start vaping again.
Yeah. I think the 4 weeks they're just trying to soften the blow a little bit before they eat it outright. That's all.
Either that or they'll say in 4 weeks' time, this is now what you're allowed to sell.
And give it more of a regular.
Allowed to sell, then I will bet my fucking house and its contents that somewhere it's either big pharma or big tobacco controlled anyway.
Yeah.
I think by the end of 2022, whole of America will be absolutely no vape at all.
Possibly sooner.
Yeah, it's a corrupt
Possibly
government,
sooner.
and with big tobacco's money and the amount what the government earn out of things like cancer, it won't stop here at all. It'll cut off in America, and then a lot of other bigger countries. Because what you got to think is the UK compared to everywhere else is actually quite small. So a lot of the other bigger countries will follow on as well because they haven't got an NHS, and over there, dying of cancer pays, wherever it does international costs.
Any of the Asian companies, any of the Asian countries do anything like that because, well, the other way around because they're big smokers, so they're always going to ban the vaping.
Yeah, then you look at like China. China make a hell of a lot of money of manufacturing, but they're currently doing something in China where they want to regulate it. Yeah, if not regulate it, ban it. Yeah.
And it's mad because most of the big regulated companies are Chinese, aren't they?
They're all from Shenzhen.
But it's still not worth the same money as the amount of smokers there are in China. And ultimately, every angle you can look at this from, every single angle, every single, what you would think is a normal argument, is a civilized argument. Ultimately, it comes back down to the fact that there's not enough money being made or people stand to lose too much money. If you can imagine America, the government get whatever percent they'll get off smoking. Then if the pharmaceutical company's making X billion pounds, they're paying tax, which goes back into the government. However many people have got private healthcare in America, they're paying for that. The companies that sell it are paying tax, which brings in millions of pounds. It's just like there's just like a whole money train of death from start to finish. And by people choosing vaping, it starts to dry up various revenue streams that are big money. I mean, the best will in the world, there's too many big people involved to just go, fuck it, we've had our good run for the last 50, 60, 70, 80 years or whatever it's been. We'll knock it on the head. They're like, fuck you, mate, you ain't even fucking with our money. There's too many big people tied up in this big money. Simple as that.
And America likes to scaremonger their people. And I think in this ban, like, sort of time when they've got these going on, I think that maybe something else will happen and they'll use that to keep pushing the scaremongering tactics because that's what they do.
Yeah, because I don't know what they're, because I don't think they've regulated sort of advertisement like we have. Obviously, you can only advertise on buses, bus stops, and I think is that about it? And then you can do a magazine where you can only do it.
Billboards as well.
You do billboards as well. You see, they've not regulated.
I think actually you just can't advertise You can't advertise in newspapers, you can't advertise radio, you can't advertise TV.
But then you've still got.
But if you could advertise on TV, how much difference would that make from a business? I mean, say if you had the offer tomorrow, Paul, to advertise on, primetime TV, how much do you think that would make of your business then?
No, but the thing is, mate, I know someone that works for Sky Advertising. So, and back in the day, we had shady vaping advertising in the Birmingham City football ground. We had it in the actual football club. So we had it on the big LCD screen, which is fucking huge. And we had a fixed board in the pitch, and I paid a fair few £1,000s for that advertising. And in fact, the original advertising package was about £12,000. That's what they wanted off me. And I got it for about £4,500, I think, in the end. But we had a specific discount code just for the billboards in the Birmingham City football ground. And without a doubt, that code that was mentioned either verbally in store or online paid for itself. The advertising paid for itself. So then another friend of mine works for Sky Advertising. Now, the thing with Sky Advertising is, as much as you might be sat at home watching an advert about, say in your instance, Dave, where you've got disability. Now, they know that you've got a disability. So you might see an advert for a car that's got wheelchair access, for argument's sake. At the same time, don't take this the wrong way, Adam, you might be seeing the advert for KFC. And Pixie might be seeing the advert for hair dye, and Tom might be seeing the advert for fucking diet pop, sugar-free because of his diabetes, because they know, honestly, the level that they can pinpoint advertising to is ridiculous. I had a meeting with a company about 9 months ago, and me and Jack actually went and seen him, and it was someone that Jack knew that done some advertising for a company that Jack used to work for. And he said to me, at this minute in time, they're working on a system whereby within 2 years, they will target specific people on specific runs to that person. So I could be sat in the traffic in my car, and they will know that my car is 2 years old, or 2 years and 9 months. And the chances are I'm going to change it when it's 3 years old. And they know that I'm driving a four-wheel drive car. They know that I'm driving a 7-seater. They know where I am because Google Maps tells them where the fuck I am. And then the billboard will flash up saying 7-seater, four-wheel drive, now available from Jaguar or Volvo or Land Rover, and try and get me back at Land Rover. He said they literally can specifically bespoke target individuals. So when if you think of the way that the algorithm works between Google and Facebook and Instagram at the moment, so you go on Google and you type in my situation, I might be typing in the new user. So last week, when is the next Yeezy drop? So I could phone someone and say they're coming on fucking Saturday, save me a pair of size 11s. All I got last week in my newsfeed on Instagram is Yeezy, fucking Adidas Boost 350. It's there, they're on it straight away. So if they can get to a point where with this digital advertising screens that they've got, certainly throughout Birmingham city centre, everywhere you go, it's digital screens now that's advertising. If they know that my car is in that location and there's a fucking 25-foot square billboard that's going to advertise to me, and they know that traffic's moving at the rate of one car every 15 seconds length, and the bloke in the car behind me, he's got 4 school kids who want, and it's fucking August, they might advertise the school uniform shop, and the car after that, and it's like absolutely pinpointing people specifically. Like, companies are paying huge amounts of money for this advertising because it's so specifically targeted. So if I could advertise on telly tomorrow, free, absolutely I would. Because I'd be saying to them, I want to go out on Virgin TV because it's probably the biggest form of media over on, say, Dudley Side, for argument's sake. I want to target everyone that's visited a vape shop in the last 6 months. Only then people would see my advert. So actually, it becomes very, very specific, and I'm pretty sure we'd see a revenue difference in the store, because there's people that don't shop in our Dudley shop because they don't know it's there. I'm not allowed to shout. I'm not allowed to have someone stood in Dudley Town Centre in a shady vaping hoodie giving out shady vaping leaflets with a 10% or 20% discount code for their first purchase, because that goes against CPD, so I can't do it. So apart from flying a fucking blimp off the roof 600 foot up in the sky, there's no other way of
Get
me
off the phone, Neil.
Because
You know,
the Dudley story is quite hidden, ain't it?
yeah, and it's one of them. I mean, back in the day, when we opened our Derby store, we had a massive following on Facebook. Facebook worked in a different way. So if I put a post out to our 12,000 people, it went out to 10,000. Now, if I put a post out to our 16,000 people, we're lucky if 35 people view the post because Facebook just choked down the audience because they want me to pay to sponsor my advert, but I can't sponsor my advert because I'm selling tobacco products.
Yeah.
So we can't use Facebook to the same degree we used to use it back in the day because I could literally post up on my Shady Vaping page, the original shop page, and say we've now opened in Dudley. We've got this on special offer. If you come to the store, you can get 25% off by showing this on your phone. And we used to, we used to put shit to market the day it come in, and by the night it sold out in that shop because people on Facebook knew that we got it and they travelled. I'd have people phoning me at 8:30 saying, mate, I know you shut at 8:30, but I'm on my way from Bristol. Can you just stay open for 20 minutes? I've been caught in traffic because we had a tank that they wanted. And they knew we got it because Facebook told them because I put a post out on Facebook, simple as that. So it's advertising is really difficult, but I think people underestimate how clever the advertising people are actually picking you out of a crowd and throwing something in front of your face that you want. That they know you. It's madness.
I mean,
do you feel like that's why they've banned? Sorry, go on, Greg.
That's all right. I'll carry on, Tom. Sorry.
I was going to say, do you feel like that's the reason they put a ban and a stop on advertisement like that? Because they knew it was hitting an audience that was new and fresh. And
I think they had to put a ban on it because they lumped it in with tobacco, and tobacco is governed by the same band.
Yeah, because they stopped all that with like advertising like on Formula. Back in the day, Formula One was full of tobacco.
Snooker, Embassy World Snooker was sponsored by Embassy number 1. How many bastard race cars were sponsored by Marlboro, by fucking John Player Special in particular, and all them.
Every single one of them tobacco sponsor back in the day.
Everything, mate. Everything was sponsored by cigarettes, and the truth of it is, then companies were making billions of pounds back then, and they still spent billions of pounds advertising to get more people on the cigarettes because clearly that advertising worked. And if it didn't, they wouldn't have wasted the money.
But then I feel like if it's the way it is and the way we're thinking that they're obviously wanting to eradicate it to get people back smoking, then why did the governing body who wants tobacco companies to make money stop the advertising? Why would you even want to do that? Why would you stop it? Because they have to be seen to be doing something to the sheep. But again, I said this before ever I picked up a vape pen, before I ever knew what electronic cigarette was. If it's such a bad thing, fucking stop selling it. Yeah. I should be able to go to the shop tomorrow and buy 40. I used to smoke Embassy Filter back in the day. 40 Embassy Filter, mate. Sorry, no more tobacco sales. All I can do is kick off. I can't get them from there because there ain't no fucking cigarettes no more. But they never do because there's too much money. And again, I'd have so much more respect if they says we're not going to stop tobacco sales because it's worth too much dough. And it's killing you. It's population control. It's fucking, we're getting money thrown at us left, right, and centre because along your journey of smoking cigarettes, not only are we getting that money, we've got another fucking 2 or 3 revenue streams to have out of you yet, mate, before you're dead. Yeah. If you die prematurely, we haven't got to pay your pension. If this happens, we've got more out. It's like literally, it's crazy. I don't know. We could go on. By the time we're fucking 75, there'll be no fucking pension. Mate, I won't even live to 75. Give on.
It's all right, Paul. I've just had a DM while we're on here. You know the discount codes? Are they able to be used in store?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all right. Someone in chat's just asked.
All of our codes are available in store.
No problem.
Let's have a woosah then. Right, me and you were talking about this one earlier, Paul, about the Aspire collab with Tayfun. We was only talking about the Tayfun tank 2 weeks ago. Old school tanks and stuff. So Aspire have now obviously collabed with Tayfun. So an independent company has collabed with a fairly big company, I would say, in Aspire. What's your thoughts on it? And do you feel like that's something that should grow in independent companies collabing with big companies, or what's your thoughts on it when you saw it?
Oh, it's genius.
You think it's brilliant?
It's genius for Typhoon because they get mass-produced products that are more. I mean, I can remember paying 140 quid for a Typhoon GT back in the day. I remember buying a second one for 80 or 90 quid second-hand.
Yeah.
So to be, I mean, I've seen some reports saying this is going to be between $40 and $60. So I'm guessing 40 to 60 quid because that's normally a similar sort of conversion rate for the UK. Would I pay £60 for a Typhoon GT? Absolutely, I would. And at the end of the day, Aspire, they're not just a relatively big company, Tom. We respect they're a worldwide multinational, £1 million business, and they've got the machining, they've got the resources, they've got the marketing, they've got everything spot on, and they do what they do, and they do it exceptionally well. And I'm sure it will be a massive success.
I like Aspire stuff as well because that was my second tank for when I started vaping. I think their tanks are fantastic. They really are. You could drop them and everything and they wouldn't break. I think they're fantastic tanks. I really do.
Yeah, I did state something though, and I saw somebody's post. I did state if it's a stock coil, I don't think it'll be as much as a smash as it would be using Tayfun. I think if it's an RTA, I think it'll be more of a smash. But I reckon it might be both.
Yeah,
I reckon you could be able to use stock coils and an RTA.
RBA, like the RBA decks with a stock coil.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. But I think it's a massive move for Tayfun, and I feel like if that's the way they're going, where they're independent, because let's be realistic, there's only so many ways you could skin a cat, and if they're obviously coming to Tayfun and saying we need to do this is how we want to do it, I think it gives a lot more inspiration for smaller companies to try and get to that place where they are with these massive multinational companies. And I think it's a huge positive, especially on the independent side of things.
Definitely.
So we've got Expo coming up soon. Who's excited for Expo?
I am excited for it because I'm hopefully my family give me some birthday money because my birthday is the weekend after Expo. So I'm hoping I'll get birthday money.
I'm just looking at.
I'm always excited for Expo, Tom. You know what I've had with my accidents earlier on in the year, and then we went into Expo, and then I got back to work. And since I got back to work, it's been madness. And in that time, we've had a kid, and really started working at the factory full time about 4 weeks ago on an apprenticeship. So I've been busy day to day.
Oh, is it full time now?
Yeah. So
wicked.
He decided he didn't want to go back to school.
Fair play to him.
We're actually put him on an apprenticeship scheme in business and admin and stuff like that. So
that's brilliant.
He's doing a full apprenticeship to get the same results he would have got if he went to school, and he's working and earning and doing so. So it's just been busy, and then I had a really good meeting with Jay at the Vapor Expo yesterday. So we have got Endless have got an 18-meter stand, which is a fucking big old beast, which we had before, which is probably too big. But part of that stand will be an advocacy stand for battery safety specifically. So. And we will manage that. Sort of our staff will manage that part of it. We've got a 12 by 9 meter cloud competition stand. I'll be speaking to all of our ambassadors over the next 24 hours about getting some competitions done, getting some entrants for stage. We'll have some cash prizes and we'll have some hardware prizes, and so it should be a good show, I'm hoping. But yeah, so we've got everything's in place to do the Mod Wheels Worldwide stuff. I'll be working on it today, tomorrow. So I know me and Adam had a conversation last week or the week before, and he put a few posts out. But we'll start working on the proper artwork for it. And I think roughly off the top of my head, we're going to have 4 rounds on Saturday. So 4 lots of 8, which will leave 1. 4 lots of 8, which will leave 1. Sorry, 8 people with 1 winner, 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 then we'll have 4, then down to 2, down to the winner. And then on the Sunday, we'll have an 8 and a 1, an 8 and a 1, and then 2 back-to-back to the winner, because we need to announce the winner by, we need to have the competition wrapped up by 1 o'clock on the Sunday, because the winner will go up on main stage after the Juice Awards to collect the trophy and cash prize, etc. So, yeah, so I mean, we're just deciding whether we slightly change up our standing, and instead of having the shell scheme, is just have a just a flat wall backdrop, but actually with the rigging. So it'll have five squares, which are going to be approximately 3 meters each, just for and 3 meters high as well. So it'll be higher than normal. Then we'll have the 5 banners, so there'll probably be an endless banner, an advocacy banner, endless, Building, AF, Birmingham Fog, on big sort of 3 meter square banners. So it should look good. We'll have a bigger seating area so we can get more people on the stand and accommodate more knackered legs and tired feet and stuff like that. So
it's going to be in the theatre in the Cloud Complex on the theatre stage.
What happens on the Friday? They've actually got advocates up on stage, so I will be doing a setup on there talking specifically again about battery safety in retail stores. So I'm going up there as Paul Harrison from Shady Vaping to do a chat to hopefully the masses, but will probably be 2 or 3 people. But throughout that day, they've got various people up on the stage. It'll have a different backdrop on the banner. It'll have the same advertising on there, but it'll have sort of an advocacy banner. Then on the Friday night, when that's finished, that'll get taken down. Then the Mod Rules Worldwide want to go up there for Friday, Saturday and Sunday with the same stuff on there. We've got the stage, we'll have a PA system. So we can go over there and do our thing. There'll be a timetable scheduled over the next week. So we can say at this time there'll be a cloud comp, at that time there'll be a cloud comp, at that time there'll be a cloud comp, at that time there'll be a cloud comp. This is when the final is. This is how the winners will be chosen. This is the prize money. So everyone knows what's happening. So that's quite exciting because we've not done anything like that before. Not on this level anyway. We've just signed up for Expo in London in February. We've just signed up for Hamburg in November. Then we've obviously got May again and back into October. So it's going to be a busy 6 months.
What about the London one?
Well, you know what, mate? I think if anyone can pull it off, they can pull it off, because I looked at the floor plan the other day. We've got a pitch. I mean, if you can imagine walking into Expo and our stand being on the right where it normally is, we've got exactly the same location as the London one. We're only having a 6x3, and that's only because it's only 10,000 square foot. So it's still much, much bigger than Jam, but it's nowhere near as big.
We're definitely doing the London one then.
Yeah, I've signed up for the London one, so we'll be there in February.
Years. I'll never go down the road. It'll be like you lot in Birmingham.
It's a fucking nightmare for us to do them anywhere outside of Birmingham, just because of what's involved in and doing.
Well, I know. How many times does Dave go back to the shop when we're setting up in Birmingham?
Crazy, but we're going to do it, and it's going to be on a smaller scale because it's going to be on a 6x3. So, and that's really because floor space is limited, because it's still I think it's still 2.5 times as big as Jam.
To be fair though, we had that exact same stand in Manchester, and I think Manchester. I loved Manchester last year. I absolutely loved it,
and I did as well. The only thing is like if we're doing mods, wire, AF, Birmingham Fog, I ain't got enough room for my set team, and that fucks me off. So I need a chair. I'll have a throne made or something. So we've got Dave's been working tirelessly painting these mods, and they look fucking awesome. I swear they look nice.
That's my birthday.
Colours that I've sent videos. I think it's just a nice. This is fucking next. I've been in talks with China for about the last month about trying to get a drop of Shermans done in time, and I don't think that's going to happen purely because they're fucking about with numbers. And I've literally left them to me at the moment. I'm waiting for them to come back to me. If they don't come back to me, then I'm going to look at manufacturing it in the UK. I've been speaking to Hero at Signature Tips about manufacturing the mouth to lung, and that's not gone anywhere much because Hero's busy and conversation's been minimal. But it is what it is. We go there with our gear, we do what we do. We've got the cloud comp and everything else. See how it goes, and see what product we got. I'm going to try and get the Sherman. If I can't get them done for Birmingham, then we'll have some Shermans for Germany, hopefully. So
what's your thoughts on the crowd for like London and stuff like that? We've obviously discussed it 2 weeks ago when you wasn't here, and we were saying obviously about Expo trying to sort of appeal to maybe a new crowd. Do you feel like that's what they're aiming to do, is aim at a different market?
There's lots of people that's going to be down that neck of the woods that don't travel to Birmingham, because with the best will in the world, I mean, what if you were driving a car, Adam, how far is it from yours to Birmingham? About 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours.
About three hours.
So are you Kent way, or are you not that far? Are you as far down as Kent, or not quite that far?
No, I'm on the outskirts of London, literally like the central line is at the bottom of my road. But
so when I drove down Prohibition, which is Kent, that was about a 4 hour drive for me, 4.5 hours.
Yeah, that's about 45 minutes away from me, Kent. Like it's down. It's through London, past London.
So if you're 3.5 hours, we're looking at 4.25, 4.5, depending on traffic. So you've really got to drive 4.5 hours, spend 100 quid on a hotel to drive 4.5 hours back tomorrow, or you've got to drive down there, spend the day there, drive back 4.5 hours fucked. And there's lots of people that go, you know what I'd like to do, but fucking hell, it's a long day, that is. But if you can jump in the car and be 45 minutes away or an hour away, there's going to be people that London will be their first expo.
Yeah.
100%. I know people that have been to, like, they go jam, but they won't go on, and this is where I live. So like, I know people that go jam but won't go to Expo. It's an all-round 8 hour drive for 3 or 4 hours in there, isn't it? Yeah. And it's I think it's a great idea because that's all we've got is jam, and jam's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and less publicised. I mean, I was done in 20 minutes at jam. If it weren't for me meeting up with a few people, I would have definitely gone home after 20 minutes.
Mate, well, that time I bumped into you at jam, didn't I? Me and Tasha.
Yeah.
So yeah. I spent longer talking to you than I did walking around the rest of the show.
To be fair, Paul, I spent longer talking to Tasha. You were talking to everyone else. It was me and Tasha standing there just talking. He's like, "Where's Paul gone?" He's gone again. He's gone again.
I mean, I think Expo should do well in London. That's my personal opinion. I've seen the floor.
I've been saying it for years, Paul. I mean, all we had was that City Vape show, which was the last one, was an absolute balls up, just a complete fucking shambles. And then jam, like I said, when I went to my first jam, it was like 4 of the halls, and then it went down to 3 of the halls, and then the last one was 2 of the halls, and you only had a few people. And there was a few people like companies that I didn't expect to see there, but other than that, it's the same old bullshit. It's
yeah, I've never been to them, so I don't know what it's like.
But it's just easy for me to get to. So, it'll be sacrilegious for me not to go to it every year because it's literally 15 minutes away from me.
I know I'm already having a discussion on what I do in London.
You're not doing London?
Nah, it's to be honest with you, by the time I drive all the way down there, and I mean, Expo knackers me out, to be honest with you. So to drive all the way down there, end up knackered out, drive all the way home, 3 days. Nah, it's too much.
See, that's the devil's advocate, isn't it? Like literally, people saying they won't travel to Birmingham because it's too far, knackers them out, and then people saying exactly the same, they won't go to London because it does exactly the same. So, kind of gives us a way to think that it's probably going to hit a new demographic of people that going down to London for Expo. Definitely.
Another 3-day event as well.
Well, I think it's a 2-day. I think it's a Saturday and a Sunday, but I'm not sure. I might be wrong. It might be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday again.
I think I heard it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
It might well be. I mean, I didn't even look into it. I spoke to Joe. Are you going? Yes. So give me something similar to what I've got at Birmingham in the inside of the door. Give me that. when I went yesterday, our name was down on the first one in as you walk through the door, so which is good. They've already filled most of the red carpet area when I looked yesterday, and they've not even really started pushing because they'll start using the October events as a way of selling space to vendors that are there to go to February. So they've had a better response than what they were expecting. So I think it'll be a good turnout, to be honest.
It is a two-day event, 15th and 16th, February the 15th and 16th, 2020, at the Olympia, London. Is that the same place that they've had Jam?
No.
It's a different place.
Yeah, different place. Olympia was a nice event stadium, if you like. It's nice.
It's just nice to see everyone.
Even the last Jam, I think Friday and Saturday and 90% of Sunday was all B2B. So like, it was like they weren't. That's why they kind of fucked themselves up a lot because it weren't rammed, which they wanted to be rammed. And then, I mean, it's good for business to business from what I've heard, but I own a business. But
it's what you go for, isn't it? I think now with we're seeing a lot of new faces going to expos, and people are like from, have been going 3, 4, 5 years, or turn around going, it's shit. Well, you've not got the same excitement that you have when you first ever went. Yeah. So to see the new faces is brilliant.
But there's something.
It does come across a bit like same old shit every day, but that's what it's what we do every day. We get up, we look on Facebook, we see if there's any more vape stuff available, and we talk to the same people. Like
I think me and you, Adam, we talk on a daily basis, didn't we? Really?
Yeah, I try not to.
That's not very nice. I love you too.
Yeah, it'd definitely be nice to see the new faces. I feel like we need to take vape into that new place. Maybe we have been stuck in a rut with. I'm not saying people just the same people, but it's nice to see new faces and people like it's shit. The feedback I see on Facebook, and you guys are probably seeing the same feedback. People are going, well, it's not like it used to be. Well, you don't get that same excitement. So these people that are going to Expo for the very first time are having that buzz, and then going onto social media and everyone's saying shit. Well, necessarily it might have been boring for you because you've done it 12 times, but the person who's done it the first time still needs that same energy.
There was a lot of people saying the same about the last Expo. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. We were fucking rammed on the Friday and Saturday. We managed to get half hour free on a Sunday. That was about it. It was busy as fuck.
And that's the thing. I don't know. I think the last Expo inspired Mod Wars worldwide because I've seen something where there was a little bit of flair coming back, a little bit of excitement, a little bit of passion. And to be fair, my last 2 months the page has stopped really. To be fair, we need to get the page active again, and because people enjoyed it. There was people, Steve Hollands, for argument's sake, who dug out his mech and bought new toys and done what he was doing. And if we can get a fraction of that into the show in May, it only sets the standard for what we can do in May next year. Because if this is half successful, then we'll have the same platform in May, the same platform in October, and so on and so on. London is too small for it. But what I think we'll do is at London, we may even run some heats, and the winners of them heats go through to the May one in Birmingham or something like that. So we'll try and do something. Because I thought,
are we doing a shop event still at the end of? No, it can't be end of September now, isn't it? No, you said you was thinking about doing a vape meet at Dudley.
I'm thinking the first week in September. So the first weekend, so not next weekend, the weekend after. So I'll announce on Monday if I'm doing it because I want to try and get some people through that can travel to the shop, that can win a ticket. But anyone that comes to the vape, anyone that comes to that vape meet, that know will get a free ticket to Expo anyway. And then if we get the winners there, they'll win some prizes in store and they'll go through to be entered onto the stage.
If I can get up there, I might try and pop up with the camera.
Yeah, I might try to pop up, get a day off.
Nick Humphrey said, my best Expo so far is Stuttgart, and I still stand by that and all.
Yeah, but Stuttgart for me weren't as good as the first Expo I ever went to in Birmingham because the excitement I had in Birmingham. The thing for Stuttgart was I could see the excitement in the other people. And what we used to see at Birmingham. But actually, it's not even what we used to see at Birmingham. It's how I felt at Birmingham. But the first time I went to the NEC, mate, and it was just mind blowing. And the second time we were vending there, and that was mind blowing. And the third time was mind blowing, and the fourth time was mind blowing. Then it started to even itself out. But for me personally, we've never had a shit event there. We've never been dead. I've never gotten home on the Sunday, so we should never have done that. And on that basis, we've always had good events. We've had people around us. We have lots of people come and see us, whether they're buying or whether they're not buying. And for me, that speaks volumes about what we do as a company and the people that we've got around us and the people that represent us and all them things is good because it shows in the crowd that we pull there. And we have people that come there and don't spend 1 pence with us all weekend. But every time they're knackered and every time they want somewhere to sit down, I'm going over to Paul Cities. And they'll come there because they can, because that's what we're about. And for me, that's just...
Only if I move my arse.
We've got to decide how we're going to lay out this. I mean, 18 metres is a big old space to fill. And I'm thinking we've never had 18 metres before. I think the biggest...
16.
15 it was. It was five squares, so now we've got 6 of them.
You need a corner sofa this year.
When we had that last big one, we actually had 3 sofas, didn't we? We had a much bigger seating area.
Yeah.
So we'll probably do something along them same lines. And say Birmingham is not so bad because literally we can jump in the van and fly back down to the shop and pick up more shit and get back up there. The downside is on the Sunday it's just long packing up because the bigger it is, the more stuff we've got to put out there.
But we all get together and
on Sunday.
We always get together and we always graft and we get out of there. So we do it. It is a fun event, and I feel like I always think about America and the way America is. We used to be where they used to have, I don't know if they still do, but shows every other fucking weekend. And I don't want to say we're lucky, but I feel like 2 to 3 shows a year is perfect because it's not oversaturating. People aren't going fucking broke. They've got plenty of time to save for expos. Do you know what I mean? I feel like if it was done too often.
I think the Fest we missed. I liked Fest last year a lot. And I was looking forward to Manchester again, but they didn't bother doing that, did they?
It clearly didn't do what it had to do, and we have a little boy. I mean, there's maybe even room for February London and 6 months after that in London, and then the May and the October in Birmingham. And I think if February's half successful, I think you'll end up with 2 events in the south, 2 events in the middle. I did say to him about, have you got any plans or thoughts on doing Scotland? Shut up, boy. What's a man, mate? I did ask him if he's got any thoughts about doing Scotland, and he says the trouble is there's just not enough people to warrant. I
think Scotland's just that little bit too far, isn't
it? 1 second. You've got the similar issue where if he'd done one in Scotland, yes, we would vend it. If it weren't successful, I wouldn't do it again. But we've got the same thing where Adam, being a hardcore, may come to Scotland the same as Pixie may go to London. But there's lots of people in between that will go, fuck that, man, Scotland's a jaunt. And for us personally, I mean, I could say to Tom, come down to Birmingham, get the van, fill it up, and get yourself off to London in the van, mate, with some staff. Me and Tasha could jump on a plane, fly up there, do what we've got to do. But it's just adding more and more and more expense to that weekend. And when you think about the actual vape industry in Scotland, 80% of it's owned by Vaporised, and Vaporised is not a sub-owning, cloud chasing style outfit. It's just not. It's not that shop. So.
No, they had a cloud comp a couple of months ago, and we purposely went. It was a Saturday afternoon, and they told us we couldn't use Mex because it was unfair on normal customers. I was like, what's that fucking cloud comp then, is it?
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, Pixie, I mean, I accept and appreciate the fact that everyone's completely different, and it's just so that Scotland have been took over. Vaporised have got Scotland on lock as far as vape shops are concerned. So they're a different type of company. They've had stands at Birmingham. but not all the time, and it's more about just putting their face out there, I guess. So, I mean, is there room for a south, a middle, and a north one? Probably there is, because again, you've got this. It's probably easier for people to travel down to Birmingham. Well, people on the outskirts are more likely to travel to Birmingham because they've got no choice than Birmingham down will travel up to Scotland because they've got a different alternative.
Nice.
The-
But it's a bit like,
Sorry, Pix, go on.
it's a bit like bloke that owns a company called Mark Piggott. He owns Scott Vapes. He owns local shops. But every time I go expo without fail on a Friday, I see him. He literally, his shop is 15 minutes from my house, but he travels from where we are, just like we do as a business, to go to expo.
Yeah, but would he go as a vapor? Probably not. He's going because he's a shop owner.
Yeah.
And there's probably more business deals done at the two expos in Birmingham than any other time of the year anywhere else.
Yeah.
You're looking for new brands, you're looking for new hardware, etc. So, I don't know. I loved, as Adam did, the Manchester event. I thought it was fantastic, and I thought, given the opportunity to reproduce it this year, it could have carried some weight. The trouble is, they're so expensive to put on that if you haven't got deep pockets, you can't set many of them on the chin where you haven't got the people through the door to fund the project. And the industry changing so much, you've got to be brave to say, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna stick at this. We're gonna put another 200, 300, 400,000 pounds to an event and hope that we cover the bills.
Do you feel like Expo now have got fully control over shows in the UK?
I mean, personally, man, until I went to Hamburg, I thought that they just got it on lock. And actually, I mean, when we went to Stuttgart, I was absolutely amazed at the passion in the people. Because, and actually, I don't know if we'd set up, in fact, we had set up Mod World Worldwide before Stuttgart because people like that Thomas Schwartz, that mad fucking German geezer, like I'd said to him, if you go in there, we'll see if we can meet up. So Mod Wars was already there. We're actually just being there and seeing that. Like, mate, when we got up there on that Saturday morning and they're blowing that cloud outside, for anyone that's seen that video, you can't explain the mad feeling I had inside when that happened because it was just next level. So many thousands of people blowing the cloud at the same time, and there's just a mad passion there that seems to have died in the UK.
Do you think their industry's like in front of the English industry, British industry, or behind it? Maybe like when everyone says the good times over here, like 5 years ago,
Definitely be behind.
They're influenced by us.
I feel like they're 2 years behind where we was, the same as we used to be 2 years behind where America
so
was.
therefore, that's probably where the passion comes from. Like everybody had the passion so long ago. Like you said, it's faded out, which is why you brought Mod Wars along.
It's very much influenced by Expo. You could see that it had the influence of Expo out of it. Like they've been to the show and seen it.
I know that Ira and Jay are friends. They speak. Ira comes over to our show in Birmingham, and Jay went over to Stuttgart, and they make sure that they're not clashing dates and stuff like that. And they'll share information with each other, and they'll advertise each other's shows. And for me, between them, they've got the sort of European show on lock between them, or the UK or Germany. And I'm thinking that Hamburg will be just as lively because Germany is such a vast country, and Hamburg is so much further north than Stuttgart that it's going to attract people from Stuttgart.
I'm sure the bloke that was trying to get everyone to go to that bought an Emmy off me at the last expo, and he said about he having euros left over, and he said, "You come in?" I was like, "I know, but that it." But I'm sure he got an Emmy for what he was with his leftover English money.
Well, there was another. What was the other show in Germany, Tom? Berlin.
Berlin, yeah.
I think that's probably who it was, Adam, because he was on my case. And to be fair, the Berlin one is just not. It's not the Hall of Vape. Look, the Hall of Vape have got this thing behind them, the same as the Vapor Expo have got behind them. And with the best will in the world, when Emil done that one in Manchester, I don't believe Lee and Jay have ever worked as hard as what Emil worked to try and promote the Manchester show.
Mm.
And when you're trying to ultimately fill someone else's boots, and when you're doing what Emil done, you are trying to do that because you've got to try and replicate the same atmosphere, the same size, the same presence, the same footfall, and all them things as a vapor expert. Some of me always felt like he was pissing in the wind, to the point where 4 weeks before that event, I wasn't doing it. And not because of him, actually because I didn't feel like the event was going to go. And actually, he come and seen me at Vape Fest, and I spent getting on for an hour talking to him. And I said, you know what, I'll come and support you, mate, because actually everything that he said, I just felt that everyone in the UK should have got behind him and support him. And lots of companies did, lots of Evo.
Was this for the lifestyle event, yeah?
Yeah.
And
I think the premise behind the lifestyle event is brilliant. Like, it's just everything that was there is a different lifestyle choice. I thought it was great.
Yeah, 100%. It was a good show. I think the show itself was perfect. It was the consumer that let it down because people didn't travel to it.
I think it was a combination, Tom. I think the venue let it down personally. I think the parking let it down. I think there was a few things that let it down.
The parking was a big thing from what everyone was saying to me, yeah.
But I think the essence of that show was fantastic. And had they have put it on again this year, I would have supported them and I would have went this year. Because I felt like if they could have got a year under the belt with a bigger footfall, then it just makes well for a good event.
Yeah, definitely. Because it is, as Adam said, the whole lifestyle thing is definitely like the way forward that everyone's doing it. It is joint on, isn't it, really? It's not just about vaping.
The jam in Liverpool dead, isn't it?
The event in Liverpool?
Yeah. Is that still going ahead?
I'm sure it's been. I don't know if it's publicly been cancelled, but I've not seen any promotion of it or the tickets out.
I'm sure I heard somewhere last year that they had a jam in Liverpool, but it was on the same weekend as Expo was.
Yeah, but I think they've pulled the plug on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do as well. Yeah, I think because the tickets aren't being sold on where they usually sold them and stuff like that, so I think they might have pulled the plug on that as well. I think a lot of people, I won't say majority, but I'd say a lot of people have moved over to CBD now. A lot of people have seen that, and CBD shows now one of the biggest things going. It's huge, and a lot of vaping companies are now CBD companies, aren't they?
Which is good for our business because we're not a CBD business. And ultimately, the shops that start catering for CBD stop catering for vapors. They just do that naturally, whether they want or whether they don't. They see where their margins are, they see where the business is coming from, and it ultimately dictates where they stop there. And that was another conversation I had with someone the other day. I think it might have been Ben Solana, that saying that actually the more CBD comes in and takes a foothold of people's stores, the more stable the vape shops become because they just stop catering for them by default, by accident, because CBD just takes over, and that's what they become, a CBD shop.
It's just when the CBD all goes tits up because Theresa May husband wants to take full control of it, and they come back over to vaping.
But then it's not so easy to do, is it?
It's true. This is true. You would have to start up again, wouldn't you?
You've got to start up again, and it's difficult to get people to go away from their normal source. No matter who you are, no matter what you are, that's just life. It's the way that it is, and whatever. But it'll be good for us. All that talk. What's people's thoughts on fucking Big Boris Johnson, man?
He's the man, isn't he? He ain't giving a shit, is he?
Boris is a badass man. I love him.
Was he even there today?
Yeah.
Was he? Yeah, but you see when that geezer was shouting his mouth off?
Yeah, he'd already fucked off home, mate.
Boris was like, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Yeah, but then I think I was at work until 4:30, and he was addressing them all at 4:30, and I wanted to watch it because I've been in the MD's office most of the day today. And actually, we had it on. We had BBC News on, and we were watching bits of Parliament and whatever. But I mean, you know what will be will be. I just love Boris Johnson, man. He needs to get he needs to have an AF t-shirt on in there.
He needs a fucking haircut, is what he needs.
But Boris has had the bollocks to go in there and say it, hasn't he? That's what people don't like. He's had the balls to go in there and say it.
You know what? I just love the fact that he said from the start, we're coming out on the 31st. That's what we do. With a deal, with a deal. And whether people agree or whether he don't, he's trying to convict what the UK citizens voted for. I was a Remainer. I mean, I was a Remainer. I don't think it's good for our economy to come out of Europe. It caused massive problems with the dollar, which ultimately affect my business because everything we buy is bought in fucking dollars somewhere along the line. So for me personally, 2 years ago, I voted to remain. However, we lost the vote, then it should be executed, and whoever's at the head of the country should be saying, well, this is what the people wanted. I don't get how people can say that he's been undemocratic when actually they want to stay in and we voted to leave. There's nothing more undemocratic than saying, well, we know that 17.5 million of you voted, but fuck you all. We're stopping in. So more pieces. I want to go. I want to do a live feed with Boris, man.
He's been given a shit job. Realistically, if everyone looks at it, he's been given a shit fucking job, and he's got to just deal with it.
And he stands to come out of this like a fucking G, mate. Like if it all goes tits up, he can say, "Look, I went in there and done it. I got passed on 2 people's buckets of shit.
Yep.
So if it goes tits up, there's going to be lots of people that go, well, there was nothing else he could have done. However, if he gets it through, good or bad, people will start going, you know what, this geezer's not even fucking about, man. He's doing what he said he's going to do. Jeremy Corbyn at this minute in time, not even saying whether he thinks we should stay in or go out. Cunt don't even know what he wants to do. I don't even understand how you can be leading that party when actually you're not even sure what your fucking direction is. So for me, Boris is just a geezer.
Yeah.
We need a banter feed with Boris and Val from last year, who told you she would sell shit back to the toilet.
Who?
Do you not remember last year you met some woman and she said she'd sell you shit back to the toilet? I think she was called Val.
I can't remember.
No one else remember that?
I don't remember that.
Oh, for God's sake.
I don't remember that. Well, we're coming to the end of the show, so we need to do status of the week. Paul's been eating some corkers this week, but my favourite one of this week is.
It was at the soft play area because it was a big black woman.
Ah, it was. There you go. Nikki said it was at the soft play area. It was some big black woman. There you go.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Status of the week this week. When a parent comes out of school raging that the school has called her in because her kid is morbidly obese, range, I can't believe they're saying my little Johnny is overweight. Bitch, please, you just rolled him down the hill with an ice cream hanging out of his face. He is overweight. Anyone in the right mind can see he's overweight. And I think it's good that schools take an actual interest in kids' health and welfare. That is status of the fucking week right there. Little fucking Johnny with his ice cream hanging out of his mouth, getting rolled home. Bless him.
that actually happened at our kids' school. And the woman was fucking fuming. And this kid looks like he's at a never-ending gobstopper, mate. I'm not joking. Like, he looks like he's a fucking little fat cunt. I'm not even going to mince my words. And she's fucking morbidly obese herself. The kid goes to school with Nutella sandwiches. She just stinks of universal credit. She's just that sort of fucking woman. And it's like, honestly, I'm just, you know what? I was fat all my life, and I'm still fucking fat. And when I was a teenager, I never ever understood why nutrition weren't taught to kids at school. Not dieting, not fucking not eating chocolate, but nutrition. About what carbs do to your body, what protein does to your body, how to have a healthy, balanced diet. And I'm at junior school when I was a kid, and most days we'd have sausage, chips and beans for our fucking dinner, and we'd have cakes, and we could go up and have seconds and all that sort of shit. So for the school to start saying, listen, your kid is too fucking fat, is not a bad thing. And I mean, there's a ways and means of getting this in. I mean, my statuses are there just to piss some people off, and there's no two ways about it. Right? So I might go a little bit extreme, but the reality is, and I also get that the morbid, the BMI scale, is it? Yeah, your BMI.
BMI, yeah.
I get that can be fucking squiff, right? On the basis that Anthony Joshua is the same height as me, and he weighs 19 stone, but he's chiseled to fuck, right? So if me at 19 stone, I'm fat. So I get that if he went to the doctors and he got measured and weighed and they said, listen, Andy, you fucking big lazy cunt, you need to fucking go on a diet. It obviously doesn't stack up. But when I stand on the scales at the same height, at the same weight, I'm fucking overweight. But I accept that. I'm not going to sit there and say to the doctor, listen, I'm the same fucking height and weight as Anthony Joshua, because it's horses for courses.
Yeah.
But for parents to be saying, I don't even want my kids weighed and measured, it's got fuck all to do with them. In my opinion, it's sort of tantamount to child abuse. And I honestly believe that.
I completely agree as well.
If someone was fingering your kid at school, you'd want to fucking know about it. And if your kid took their clothes off for PE and they've got bruises on their legs because the stepdad's been giving them a hiding you don't know about, you'd want to fucking know about it. So why get all sore when they're saying your kid can't do PE because they don't do fucking shorts in the school uniform shop to fit the fat ones? And it's just, I don't know. And this is coming from someone who was fat all through school. I got bullied for being fat all the way through my school life. So it's not like I'm sitting here at 6 stone going, oh, I can't stand fat people. They're disgusting. But I just think it's important. Adam knows where I'm coming from. and Thomas up there. And I just think it's important, actually. You know what? It's the same as I see these posts every September going, I can't believe I've spent £110 on some black trainers for fucking Marvin and he's been sent home from school because they're not school shoes. They're not fucking school shoes, you thick control. So don't moan that Marvin's been sent home in his fucking pumps. And if you don't like the fact that the school's got a uniform policy, keep Marvin at home and fucking homeschool comes. Then you can put your own rules into play. But the trouble is, everyone's a bit like, yeah, but why should they dictate how and when my kid goes to school, what they wear, whether he can have his hair braided, whether he can go with purple hair, whether fucking Anthony can go in with fake tits because really today he wants to be called fucking Martha. Just uncles, man. And I just think that there's kids getting stuck on our streets, right? There's people sticking knives into other kids and killing them outright because they've got no manners, no respect, no morals, and fundamentally they're just lacking something in their life. And it's because their mum and dad's at home going, nah, I don't even want the police to stop and search my son. They're only doing it because he's black or because he's fucking got a hoodie on. Or if everyone is stop and searched, to me, it's a good thing. And what can I say? If I got stopped and searched, instead of me going, oh, you're only doing it because I've got a skinhead and tattoos, but actually think, you know what? If they're doing it to me, they'll be doing it to that geezer over there, that geezer over there, the black geezer, the white geezer, the Pakistani geezer, the Indian, the old lady. Stop every country you have to. But that makes it safer for me on the street. It makes it safer for my kids on the street. It makes it safer for Miss on the street. But everyone's got this hang up with rules and regulations because who the fuck should tell me what I've got to do? No one make the own island and live on your own island and put your own fucking rules in place, right, and do whatever the fuck you like. But while you're living in this country, it's like, mate, I've seen people yesterday going, oh, Boris is broken the law, man. These are the same people that posting up saying, I can't believe that my pal Leroy got fucking roughed up by the old bill because he got fucking 10 ounces of weed on him. It should be legal, but whether it should or it shouldn't, it fucking well is. Right, so that's the law of the land. Follow the law of the land, and if you don't like it, pack your bags up and fuck off and live somewhere where they've got the rules that you want to live for. But then because the parents have got that attitude, the kids have got that attitude, and the kids don't give a fuck about no one.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got people crying in their soup going, I can't believe my son's been stabbed. And it's like, that's because you're a cunt. Whether they've been stabbed or whether they've stabbed someone, they're all mixing in circles. I know a kid who got stabbed recently in Birmingham who got stabbed because he pulled a knife out on someone and the geezer pulled his knife out quicker and stabbed him. And then the mum who's crying that her son's dead, doesn't want to hear the fact that, listen, he got stabbed because he went to stab somebody else. Then her argument is, yeah, but he only carries it for self-defense. What do you think the other guy was carrying it for? Because you sort of pulled his knife out on him first.
Yeah, and he's going to do it to him, yeah.
He would have been in jail for fucking 15 years for killing someone. Is that more acceptable than the other boy being in jail 15 years for killing your son? Because they were both in exactly the same scenario. And you can't sugarcoat these scenarios to suit yourself.
No, not all, not that sort of thing, no.
It's just, I don't know, mate. There you go. So anyway, you got fat kids, sort mate. Come on.
I think it's worse though. I think it's worse that in Tesco, in the past 2 years, they've had wider fitting school clothes, as if it's socially acceptable to be able to just be able to do that. I think
but
if I had
kids
to
are
buy
getting
that,
bigger. Like, you can't say you're not allowed to go to school because you're fat.
I'm not saying you can't have an education.
When 20 years old, you know, not only am I fat, I can't even read them fucking right.
Never mind.
I can't even look at the nutritional value on this fucking Mars bar because I couldn't go to school because I was too fat for the uniform. So but yeah, there you go.
Right, on that note, we're out of here. Thanks ever so much, everybody who watched, everybody who's joined in. Thank you, we really appreciate you. And we'll see you next week, same time. See you in a bit. Bruce.